Under Clause 5D of Rule 20, the chair announces to the House that in light of the expulsion of the gentleman from New York, Mr. Santos, the whole number of the House is now 434.
3 people were just expelled from the U.S. House on the same day. Katara Ravesh, Anthony DeValder, and George Santos, which of course are all the same people. So George Santos has just been expelled from the U.S. House of Representatives, becoming the 6th person ever to be expelled. So I'm going to get to who the 5 others were. But this was just, I guess, eventually to be expected, considering all that has come out and the ethics report. So as I covered last week, this was revealed in the ethics report. George Santos used campaign cash to pay for OnlyFans and Botox, among other luxuries, like an Hermes bag, or at least something from Hermes. But this is all... Let me read this first, and then I'll get to why I really think he was expelled. The main thing that really made it impossible for him to stay. So NBC writes here, he had survived 2 previous attempts to expel him this year, one in May and the other a month ago. But Santos began losing significant support just before Thanksgiving after the bipartisan House Ethics Committee issued a damning 56-page report detailing allegations that Santos deceived his donors, filed false campaign statements, and used campaign money to fund his lavish lifestyle. This is why I think this time it stuck. When you are exposed for using your donors, when you offend the donors, and we're not talking about, I'm sure Santos had a few individual donors. I don't think that was most of his money. I imagine a lot of it being corporate money. When you offend your corporate donors as a party, you got to go. This is I think, really the reason he was pushed out. It doesn't, all the lies, we'll go through some of his lies later on because I've discussed these earlier. Look at this count. I can't. There's so many lies that Santos has told. Oh my, so we'll get to some of that just randomly. I'll pick some random ones out in a bit. But that didn't matter. What matters is, you offended the corporate donors. Well, that's the final straw. You must leave, sir. You cannot offend our corporate donors. So among the things he spent campaign funds on were rent, luxury designer goods, personal trips to Las Vegas and the Hamptons, cosmetic treatments, including Botox, and a subscription to the, as I discussed, OnlyFans. So this is, he was also charged by the Justice Department with multiple federal counts, including identity theft, theft of public funds, and money laundering related to campaign donations, and he is set to go on trial in September. We're going to have to wait to get there to see if it's worth discussing him further, because I feel like, as fun as parts of this story have been, because DeSantis is such a wild character, I'm glad he's not going to be in the public eye, or I should say in a position where he is representing people in public office, because he clearly does not deserve to be there. So maybe it's best, out of sight, out of mind. Maybe when the trial concludes, it'll be worth covering, but we'll see. So he, this is also part of the reason I think that led to him being pushed out. At least, I mean, these New Yorkers have always had a reason to get him out. So he became a liability for a handful of New York Republicans who were part of his same freshman class. So that was Anthony D'Esposito, Nick LaLota, and Mark Molinaro. So they all, of course, had a reason to push him out because they all dragged him down. So they were really the ones leading the push to get Santos out. And while the Ethics Committee Chairman Michael Guest authored this particular expulsion resolution, he said he had closely coordinated with those New Yorkers to ensure they were the ones who forced the vote this week. So these were the 5 that were expelled before Santos. You can see by the black and white imagery. None of it's recent. James Traficant, he was convicted of 10 felonies. Michael Myers, convicted of bribery. And then there were Civil War expulsions because they fought for the Confederacy and were expelled for disloyalty. Burnett, Reed, and Clark. There you go. Santos, the latest. It's, I don't know. I guess it's a fitting end to this saga. All of these lies, man. So I've gone over this in previous videos. I'm sure if you search up on my channel, George Santos lies, in the search bar when you're on the channel. You will find my video, but we can, I don't know, grab some random ones I haven't mentioned yet. So he lied about where he went to high school. He's a pathological liar. So it's just, he lied about, did he lie about being on the basketball team or like being a star? I think that's somewhere in here. He lied about being, I know at some point he lied about being a star athlete in high school. And he also lied about where he went to college. He never worked on Wall Street, even though he claimed he did. And then he badmouthed the company that he didn't work for, that he claimed he worked for, to try and come off as like, oh, look at me, I'm standing up to Wall Street. But you didn't even work at the company. Like, it was just so, it's out of a movie. It's so ridiculous. It's unclear where a lot of his money even came from because a lot of his, scams over the years. He lied about founding an animal charity. He allegedly swindled a disabled vet whose dog was dying. He may have ripped off an Amish dog breeder with a bad check. This one's new to me. I haven't seen that one. He apparently was married, but then he got a divorce. But he's also, I would say, clearly not straight. And then of course, he claimed his mother died in 9/11 when she didn't. She died of cancer. Come on, man. He claimed he had employees who were in the Pulse shooting. Like, this is just, he claimed his niece was kidnapped. Oh my God. I missed that one. Yeah, he claimed he was Jewish, but he's not. He said he was Jewish. So insane. And this is Qatar Ravesh. So the other person who was expelled today, Qatar Ravesh, him as a drag queen, which I got, of course, no issue with him being a drag queen. It's the fact that he is in the Republican Party and they are trying to claim that, being a drag queen, you are grooming children, which is absolutely ridiculous. So it's really, this man, I'm really curious where he's going to go next. He also claimed he was a Broadway producer. I don't there's no end to this. I'll be here all day. Let's get one more. That's just like a weird one. I guess that was the end of it. I'm sure there's more in there somewhere. I know there are more that are not mentioned here that I have. Oh, here, this is this one. Here we go. He claimed he was on Hannah Montana. He claimed he was on Hannah Montana. Just what a man. I'm almost gonna miss him a little bit because he was sort of a great example of just how absurd Republicans can get. But that's maybe part of the reason, again, that he was pushed out, is that he pushed it a little too far. He really, you could argue, maybe in some way, he brought the whole party down. Though I think there are worse elements of the party than lying about being on Hannah Montana. So I don't really think I think Trump is worse for obvious reasons. I think Mitch McConnell is worse for the destruction he has caused. So in terms of the actual destruction on the lives of people as, at large in America, there are many worse Republicans than George Santos. But George Santos as just a figure who just openly, brazenly lied about everything and then spent campaign money on luxury goods, Botox, and OnlyFans. It's just, what an amazing individual. But whatever. Now he's expelled.